there are two types of trees. Number one, that the tree grows and then takes everything around. It's a baby first, takes everything around, grows really high, grows strong, and keeps growing high. Just goes to the sky. And number two, there's other type of tree that takes everything, starts growing from the baby, but comes down, spreads over, and gives back to the soil, and then gives back to the other plants, little babies. And I think you're the number two. The first time we met, Rakib created this opportunity, and I sent you a text in LinkedIn.
Yep.
And you reached back, so down to earth and so humble of you. And then you just gave me an opportunity to go to an event, which was such a great event. And I said to you, I did not know what you saw in me, but just gave me an opportunity.
And you're just reminding me when that first interaction, when you sent me that message in LinkedIn, and you shared that Nepalese proverb.
That's right, yeah.
The branch with fruit bows down close to the ground.
Right, yeah.
And that stuck with me because, I mean, you shared that and I went, oh. And it immediately resonated.
Yeah.
And you know, made me proud, made me feel good that is what I'm doing.
That's right, yeah.
And it was a great opportunity, and so I appreciated that. And I shared with you, you know, I have this, what I call my personal profile that I share with employees and share with teams. I've used it now in my new role at St. Luke's and I've hired 2 new employees in the last 2 months. When they come on, I share my personal profile with them that describes who I am, how I think, what I'm about. And I've added that quote. I've added that proverb.
And you said that to me as well.
Yeah, I've added that proverb, and I've shared the story of how that even came about.
That's so awesome. Yeah, this world is beautiful because of people like you. I met Matt sir, I met you, I met other people, and I keep meeting amazing people like you, and I'm so grateful that I met you. I'm so happy.
What I'm bringing to you, go pay it forward, do it for somebody else.
Exactly.
It's the only thing I ask, right?
Correct.
Because I know that.
Yeah, and you actually asked for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think I asked you, why are you doing this? You can choose not to do.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing this, hoping you will do it to someone. I think you said this in one of the sessions itself that we had. It's
the other thing though is beyond that, it makes me feel good.
It does.
It brings
you also said
it brings me joy. I mean, this is what fills my cup.
Yeah.
Is giving to others and helping you unlock the potential in you as an individual. Yeah. And that's kind of where I think about it from a career development standpoint. From a growth standpoint is you have immense potential.
Correct.
How do you realize it? Do you believe in it? Do you believe in yourself? Do you understand where you can go? And if I can do anything to help you unlock that, that's like so rewarding.
And I think that
so rewarding.
Yeah, and I think that is the best thing to do, Scott. Making someone believe in themselves.
Yeah.
I think they become infinite after that.
It's what I did when I was coaching. You know, and you talk about your passion for teaching. That's where this emanates from. My mom was a teacher.
Okay.
She was actually a teacher. She taught first grade most of her career, but she was a teacher. She always joked with me because I worked in the high tech world for most of my career so far, and now in healthcare. But she used to always say, "Scott, you should go become a teacher." I said, "Mom, I am. I just make a lot more money than you do." But you can teach in any occupation. Doesn't matter, right? It's like I told you earlier.
That's
it's
right.
like just because you don't get an education degree doesn't mean you're not an educator. I'm proof of that, right? It's like you can go educate in any capacity, in any role. So when I was coaching these girls in soccer and basketball, that was I didn't need to be an expert in the sport, although I knew a lot about basketball after playing it for years and years. Soccer, football, that wasn't my sport, but I knew how to coach, I knew how to teach. Right. And it was taking a 8-year-old girl who had never played much soccer, who was surrounded by girls that maybe had, and she was all intimidated and not feeling confident and comfortable, and how to kind of lift her up and say, you got this. Let's work on your skills, but it's more about belief. It's more about, let's have fun. Let's just go have fun. Get out of your head. Let's go have fun. And so, to me, that was some of the most rewarding experiences of all, is by the end of a season, seeing some girl on the team who was scared to death to play, just out there enjoying it, and all of a sudden realizing, hey, I'm not bad. I can play this sport. It was the best thing in the world. I mean, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. And then that one thing you said to me, I said that I was feeling imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And you said you gave me one sentence, Scott. That evening we met in the basketball match. Yeah. You said, you are at your level, and it is expected for you to be at your level.
Yeah.
That's what you said, and kind of put me into thought for a little bit. But that is what fixed me. And then
it's perspective.
That's right.
It's perspective. I mean,
made me believe in me.
We all get caught up in our heads of, and I do it. I mean, I'm guilty of it still. It's like, I'm later in my career. I've learned a lot, but I still go through all that myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a day that goes by where you don't have self-doubt and just like, what should I do with this? But it's perspective.
Right.
And it's trying to figure out how do you get out of your own head and recognize, in that instance, you are who you're supposed to be right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's expecting you to be the expert. It's not what you applied for.
Correct, yeah. And then my interview went so well.
Yeah,
which
is exciting.
I think it was the best interview I've had for any internship so far.
Think about this, right? Think about this. And I was telling you this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Never forget that feeling.
Yeah. Well,
never forget the success you had in that, the way you felt afterwards, the way you felt like, that was the best interview I've ever had. Don't ever forget it, because you may not get that job.
Mm-hmm.
You may not get the next 10 jobs you apply for.
Correct.
But if you remember that feeling, your interviews will go so much better throughout your career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's just the recognition of where you were in that time, in that place, and how you were confident, you were being authentic.
Yeah. That is the word. I was being authentic in that interview. I was being me.
It's often, if I think about students, especially students I've interviewed for intern roles over the years, but it's not limited to that. I've interviewed people later in their career for specific jobs who still feel like imposters. So it's not uncommon, right? People come in and they're nervous. They're like feeling like, oh gosh, I hope I get this job. And you get in your head, you're nervous, you make mistakes, you fumble across your words, right? And the reality is, when that happens, people try to portray themselves often as something they're not. Right. And as an interviewer, I can see through that in a heartbeat. I can tell you're lying, right? I can tell you're trying to be something you're not.
Right,
because it's not authentic.
Yeah.
And if we're just sitting here in a conversation, I can quickly see that's like, why are you behaving that way? 'Cause I just want to know about you. I don't want to know about who you think I want you to be. That's a different version of the imposter thing, but it's of thinking, I need to answer the questions the way you want to hear them. I need to show up as somebody that I'm not, because that was what the job application said.
Yeah.
I would far rather understand in that situation, I want to know exactly who you are right now, what you've learned, how you think. And if there's a gap between what I'm looking for, tell me how you think about it. How would you approach it? How would you go learn? What would you do? I need somebody who's going to problem solve. I need somebody who's going to be a thinker, not a doer. And then I find out what the person's made of.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's so correct. And I think my interview went so well because I was being myself in there. And I was nervous the night before
Yeah.
because I wanted to be the person they wanted me to be. But guess what? After the interview went, done, I came back home, and then one of my interviewers, there were 3 interviewers, it was a panel interview.
Yeah.
One of my interviewer went back home and searched me in LinkedIn, and he viewed my profile. I was like, it was that good. And I was like, wow.
It was compelling enough, right, that
Yeah.
they took interest to learn more.
Yeah,
That's what you want,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And and I go back to whether you get that internship position or not,
Mm-hmm.
don't lose the feeling, don't lose the success, don't lose what you learn from it,
Definitely.
because your career journey is going to take you all over the place. There will be jobs you hope to get and never get because not the right time, not the right fit,
Mm-hmm.
not the right moment. But you will still show up authentic every single time. And if it's
Every
right,
single
it will
time.
work out.
Every single time, yeah. Exactly. I would do that, and I will never forget what he said. Recently, I've been very happy, but almost for 1 year, I wanted to be happy, and maybe I wanted to be happy. That was the reason I could not really be happy. Isn't that paradoxical? I was struggling to be happy, and I don't know what I wanted in my life, but I always felt something is missing. I always felt things were going south. And I learned this phrase coming to America. I didn't know what things going south meant before. Came to America and I learned that things going south means things does not work out as we want it to work out.
Yeah.
What do you say to that kind of situation?
I would say a couple things. One is recognize it's a lifelong journey. How you feel about it today may differ from how you feel about it next year.
That's also right. That's correct.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it's just the acceptance that it's a lifelong journey
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to make mistakes and you're going to find areas of happiness. And over time, you hope that balances out. And over time, you hope you achieve whatever you're looking to achieve that's the truest sense of fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not easy. And you're going to mess it up along the way. And just accept it, right? It's okay.
It's okay to mess up.
Yeah. Because that's how you learn. That's how you learn.
Correct.
You're not going to... That way of finding what that balance is a learning process. It's like you test the waters. Can I go this high? Oh, I got burned. I got to come back down off that. We heard some of that in the group discussion we were just in, right?
Yeah.
People recognizing, you yourself, last year I did too much. I needed to back off from that.
Mm-hmm.
Great. You learn from it. You tested it. You learn from it. You back off. Did I back off too much this year? I needed to do a little bit more. So I think if you kind of get on this path of openness to learn, openness to grow, self-reflect, learn to get in touch with yourself, figure out who you are, what are you missing, what should you do different, how should you approach life. To me, it's just so much more fascinating.
I think
And it's rewarding because I feel like I'm really in touch with who I am and what I'm about.
I think actually I think you do feel like us at this stage.
I love that.
Is that
I love
is that
yes.
the goal?
Sure. Sure. Don't age. I mean, in some ways, your body and mind, you age. I would like to think I'm a lot wiser now than I was then. If I didn't, it's like, what would you have done now if you knew that back then, kind of thing.
Correct.
It gets back to the, kind of the notion of 10,000 hours, that if you've put 10,000 hours into something, now you're this, expert. I've done that. I've done my time. I've put my 10,000 hours into self-reflection. And when that happens, I've having played sports a lot, when you get to a certain level of skill, the game slows down. You see things that other people don't see. That's where I feel like I am in life. is that I've gotten to a level of knowledge, of awareness, that the game slows down. And I can see things that others don't see.
Right. Scott, of course everybody makes a mistake, and I've made mistakes. I'm sure you have made mistakes.
Never.
Well, okay.
Mistakes all the time.
Very nice. This is your fourth standing comedy, stand-up comedy joke. But anyway, do you regret mistakes?
No, I don't. I try not to regret things.
Try not to.
It's hard, right?
It's hard.
Because I've made plenty of mistakes in my life. Plenty, in everything I do, from family to work to whatever. And I would say, have I ever made any huge mistakes, really life-altering mistakes?
Not really.
Not really. Not that I can recall. Have I made a lot of little mistakes? Oh gosh, every day. Every day. I mean, there's always something where you're like, wish I would have done it this way. Regrets, I think for me, regret feels too heavy. Regret feels too much like holding on to something and never letting go. And so to me, with those mistakes, it's just about, it's kind of a faith thing. It's like forgiveness is important. You have to forgive yourself. You have to move on. You have to learn to move on.
What is faith to you, Scott? Do you believe in God? You do?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Why is that a surprise?
Are you religious?
Yeah.
You are religious?
Yeah.
Do you go by Christianity?
So when I grew up in a strong Christian house, parents went to church. I went to church with my parents all the time until I got into high school, college, and then I kind of strayed away for a while, as many people often do. As you go try to find yourself, right, and to forge your own path, right? I think that happens. But when I met my wife, I became Catholic when we got married.
Oh, okay.
And now I've been Catholic longer than I've not been Catholic. Not having grown up Catholic, it's different than she grew up Catholic. And I am one, this gets back to our conversation on black and white and gray, right? I am the gray person when it comes to even my religion. Okay. And that people get fanatical one way or the other. People get fanatical on, really fanatical on the religious doctrine. Just get really kind of embedded in the theological stuff, or even in the Bible, of, if that's where you're coming from, of this is how it is, this is what it said, and they take a very literal view of their religion. And then you get people on the far end of the spectrum who don't believe in anything. To me, once again, the answer's in the middle. I have a strong faith. Do I believe in God? Yes. But what is that to me? It's probably not the same thing that it even is to my wife.
What is it to you?
For me, I always just simplify everything, right? To me, God is love. It's that feeling of peace, right? You get to the point where you believe in something that's bigger than yourself, that is a higher power. Now, some people I could simplify it to the point of whether you believe in God or not, the ability to believe in something bigger than you puts you in a different perspective than it otherwise. And if you are kind of adhering to a higher model of aspirational of who you should be as a good person, right?
Yeah.
It gives you something to aspire to. It gives you something to believe in. Now, if you want to call that religion or not, doesn't matter to me. But the power of that, I think, is super important. For me, God sits there, right? So as I pray, some of that is just self-reflection. Some people might be, well, you're just talking to yourself. Does it matter? Does it matter if I'm talking to myself or if I'm talking to God or talking to a higher power of whatever I believe? If I'm learning, growing, and it's bringing me inner peace so that I can forgive myself for things, I can forgive others, I can find goodness in the world. All of that stuff doesn't matter. I mean, years ago, I remember seeing this bumper sticker on a car that said, basically, do you believe in God? What have you got to lose?
Yeah.
And I thought, that's pretty powerful. And so it doesn't matter what you think God is, or if you have other, whatever your religious beliefs are, whatever that higher power is, I don't think matters. But what have you got to lose by not having that?
Nothing,
I think what you have.
Nothing.
Well, I mean, I think for people, it's like, I'd rather put my faith in that than not put my faith in it and just hope for the best.
Do you think we can do without God?
I personally don't.
No? Why not?
Because I just think I think it just provides us with hope.
Interesting. I feel very educated right now.
I don't know, maybe.
Scott, have you been heartbroken? Heartbroken is in being in love with someone.
Sure.
How was it? How did you navigate through it?
Oh, it's one of the toughest things ever.
One of the toughest things?
Oh, yeah. It was one of the toughest things ever. It was right out of college.
Yeah?
And it was probably one of the most difficult things. Because
I'm curious when you say
at that early age, and somebody who you maybe, for me, was like this deep connection, and at certain moments throughout the time of, we were together for 2.5 years.
2.5 years?
Yeah, I never thought I would ever be apart from.
Really?
But then recognized we had different future views.
Uh-huh.
But then when the moment came of the heartbreak, it was crushing. Partly because at that time I was like in your shoes of like seeking, who am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? What am I doing with my career? What am I doing with my life? Do I believe in God? I don't know. I was in that moment when that happened. So I didn't have the solid position that I'm in now to fall back on. It would be completely different. Heartbreaking, crushing still, but I'd be in a completely different situation today.
I was kind of afraid to ask this question, but I'm glad I did because I think I can learn something from you. I was thinking about this and I was not very sure if I wanted to ask this question to you or not. But same, I went through a heartbreak as well, and I think I can relate a lot from you, or you can relate a lot from me and maybe give me some guidance, direction.
It's one of those things where in the moment it hurts and you feel lost,
right? Yeah.
And you don't know where to go, and it doesn't matter what anybody says. No words of advice in that moment help you.
Correct.
Right? Because it's just especially the first one, right? It's like
nothing helps.
Nothing helps. At that point in time, I think that first true kind of heartbreak, at that moment in your life, you haven't built, it's almost like you haven't built the calluses. You haven't built the thick skin to deal with life. And this is like that first life experience that turns you upside down, twists you around, and is like, okay, life altering. What do I do? I don't know what to do with that. Whereas now, years later, loves later, right? It's like, oh, now I've built up the shield.
The thick layer is there.
Somewhat the understanding of life in general that allows me to deal with it differently.
And I think I do not have that thick shield yet.
You shouldn't have yet.
Yeah.
So this gets back to what we talked. Realize where you are in your life.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Set realistic expectations.
I know.
Right? Don't expect something different than that.
Right.
Gets back to the regret piece. Never regret that relationship at all. Learn and grow from it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Respect it for what it was, and whatever that period of time was, respect it for that time and move on.
Yeah. And maybe some forgiveness.
Forgiveness for you, forgiveness for her.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate this. A thing I want to be in my life is the same tree as well.
You're well on your way.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
But
you wouldn't be doing this if you weren't.
Right. I'm on my way. Thank you so much, sir. You're always very inspiring. Very inspiring.